Welcome everybody to this conversation between Sandra and Susanne and myself, Annika.
Yeah.
The intention of this conversation is to have a reflection and also a deepening and a context exploration of the deepening training, which has happened both in Garizek in person and also one iteration has happened online. And both Sandra and I have gone through the training. Sandra has done both trainings, and I have participated in the online training. And since then, many doorways have opened for the game world to expand and to learn, to research, and to grow. And I would like to hand over to you, Susanne, to lead us into this process of how the deepening came about and the purpose of it.
Thank you, Annika, for inviting us. And actually, I've been reading the necessity in the field that after the core training, participants started to apply the distinctions and the initiations they had in the core training in the feelings practitioner or in any feelings practitioner lab or in the clinic, and that people start to hold spaces for healing in the feelings practitioner way and to apply the distinctions and the maps and whatever they learned. And for these people who want to go deeper and immerse themselves into this vast field of healing in the feelings practitioner way, for these people, there needs to be a laboratory container space where they can immerse themselves and evolve and expand as a human being, as a healer. And the question was, how could this container, how could we as an infinity ring and the trainers offer a space so that this can happen, that this deepening may happen? Because the deepening is not only a one-time training, it's a training that needs a space that needs to be held for a longer time so that evolution may happen. In these healers, they who committed to the feelings, to transmit the feelings practitioner work, to be a feelings practitioner in action, to those who already hold client sessions or offer trainings. And in this way, the deepening, the first deepening in person started in Glarisek, where you, Sandra, have been. And the focus of the deepening is to, as it says, deepen the context, deepen the maps and the processes and the initiations that have already been delivered, and also to launch or introduce new maps and to expand the field so that the trainee can likewise go deepen and expand. And the online deepening came to life because we have an international field. We have people from New Zealand like you, Annika, and from Poland and from the United States and Australia. So it's a big international field already grown in the last years. And these people cannot come to physical trainings together or only to one in a year or so. But they are already delivering and supporting the field and delivering trainings and delivering sessions. So we undertook the experiment. How can we deliver embodied processes and so on online? And this was the online deepening, which went over 10 weeks, almost 3 months. Yeah. And from what I can say, the experiment worked. The experiment worked. And I would like to hear you, Sandra or Annika, how it worked for you.
Thank you, Susanne. I would like to add one more thing, which is that like the deepening itself also was fed by the participants that were in the space, and that feelings practitioner is finding out at the moment that there is no one path, like we might know out of modern culture, where there is like a prescription of things you may or may not do. And yes, there are some aspects and some processes to go through that support you to embodying the feelings practitioner, the healer inside of you. And at the same time, the path can look very different for each and every one of us, and finding out more about that through each deepening, also what that is and how to empower that individual to come alive from within, to then let their archetypal lineage, healer lineage, come through.
Yeah, and that's the challenge, really. That is the challenge, how to provide a container where, or how to provide a space where each and every one of the participants can be supported in the best way to evolve in their own lineage. And on the same hand, to kind of preserve quality in the transmission. So not to dilute it, not to make it to make it small, and really allow this very strong lineage to come through each and every one of you.
Yes. And it's, for me, it's really to come there, it's really to come into the body and to really incarnate on the earth. And so the processes we were doing there in Glarisek and online were how to come into the body and feel from the inside, and being inside, let the being expand in the body, and from there to come to the outside and be in connection with the outer world. And that's the process where I work on through, and then the archetype lineage can come through me. And yeah, we made processes for that, to speak up from that and to let the archetype lineage speak, and also what the other person see in me, what is there. And there were great processes. Yeah.
I'm noticing that the deepening has created a big liquid state still, and at the time more so in the way I hold space and in the idea or the identity of space holder that I may have known beforehand. So I notice now more this ability to be in the space with the two of you and not have this veil in front of me that separates me, for example, or this wall. And it's still a process, and it's this, it almost, I think, to the normal mind, it feels so odd, this idea of like, how can I be inside of my body and experience myself while still being in connection with you? And the modern culture idea would be, well, if you're inside of yourself, then you're separated from everybody, and then you're not in connection. And maybe that's the first step that you need to actually reclaim, to do that, to, okay, I'm going here first, and I don't care about everybody else first. And then when is time to come out? And then and that also then training yourself, when is time to come out with this impulse that then comes through you, through the feelings that are moving through you. And yeah, like this whole this clarity also of that, how much the emotions are stored somewhat in my physical body. So even more leaning into the trust that actually, no matter what belief pattern I've got, no matter what habits or whatever is stopping me, blocking me, is actually somewhere in my body. And with space holders that are holding space for that lineage, I can access these spaces eventually, and to learn again that to come out, to fully come out, to sit in front of someone and feel the shame in connection, for example, things like that. And that's, to me, that's revolutionary. I have not experienced that anywhere else before, to really be in the present moment of that experience, and for everything to be okay in a sense, without someone saying it's okay, but it actually is okay, and relearning that it's okay, that everything that's going on here can be there. And it's in service of evolution. Yeah.
Maybe you're already speaking about one of these very essential parts of the feelings practitioner transmission, is that all needs to go through our own bodies. The evolution of the client somehow goes in resonance with my own body. The emotional body of the client is, I go in resonance with this emotional body, and it somehow works through my own embodiment. The space holding works through my own embodiment. And in the same way, in that way, the trainings go through the embodiment from the gross, from the more gross distinctions into more and more and more finer distinctions and refinement of the noticing in one's own body. Because the more I can notice in my own body, emotional, energetic, also my memes and whatever, the more I can notice in myself, the more can I provide for my client. The more can I notice in my client and in the space. So the process of becoming a feelings practitioner is to go through the deepening into more refinement and into more complexity, into more, and one time it might also be into more simplicity.
Yes.
Blah 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 blah. Leaving that behind.
So this was an internal joke.
It wasn't a clinic joke today. That
the
was
clinic
all the
joke of
mind
the day.
chatter that's alive, and you just go blah 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 blah. Hmm.
Yeah, where I want to go, what I in that context, what I yeah, maybe that's enough for that.
Keep going. I want to hear you, Susanne. You have something.
What really struck me was the level of commitment in the group.
Mm.
I think nobody of these 16 people missed one session, or maybe only because they couldn't get through, or the internet broke down or something. So 10 sessions by 16 people for 2 hours, everyone was sitting on their edge and being full on. And that meant that also the space was really dense without being very fast. So it was not a pushed space, but it had a density and a really a strong commitment also from the people weaving their connections towards each other, not only in the space of the set of the sessions, but also in between. In their 3 cells, 4 cells, 5 cells, and also in the Telegram group, there was a lot of communication and exchange. So it feels like the field has also been woven. The feelings practitioner field has also been woven, and more connection, like in the brain, more connection are created, and then the brain becomes more able. So the same way, maybe in the feelings practitioner field, there are much more connection woven. And I'm curious what's going to happen from that.
Yeah, what you're outlining is actually the feelings practitioner field was working on each of us in the space, meaning that this, this idea that I heal by myself or that it's my issue is no longer valid in that space. And it's very apparent, or it's more apparent in the clinic space, and it also is becoming clear in the training spaces that when I have something come up, that it's a chance that it's relevant to everyone or some of the people, but it's not just my issue that I'm working through, and that there is a resonance in the field with whatever is coming up. And I think this is then also creating this network and the weaving that somehow there is a lineage coming through each individual, and at the same time we are this oneness that operates moving together. And it's really like what ingredients are necessary to bring this weaving together, like to allow for that to happen, and then to have that vacuum in the space so that can happen.
Yeah, and Susanne said it, or Annika, not yet, not in the last sentences, but yeah, what was really for me there to come into the present moment, to that I don't have to change anything in me. So then it's, yeah, I feel sadness at the moment. So that's often the pressure I make on me, that I have to change something. And it's the opposite. Yeah, I don't have to change. And so then I come to, then it changes. It is like a paradoxon, or yeah. And that's so, yeah, to come on the edge and to feel that in your body, so that you don't have to change anything. And that's really amazing. And
Yeah, I just want to make the loop, because you come to the age where you realize that you do not have to change anything. So many things can change. That's the paradox.
yeah.
And before we're closing this conversation, I also want to add one extra thing in terms of the results that you were referring to, or how has it worked out. It's like that there is still a bunch of people that are committed and they still want to keep going. So there's still more working in the field now to keep going and being thirsty for more training, being thirsty for more transmission, being thirsty for the archetypal lineages to come forward more. And so that to me is another sign that it's working. It's working in each of us.
And the good thing is that the deepenings will continue. There will be a next and a next and a next. So there will be an in-person deepening, I think in December in Glarisek. And each one comes in this context that we've described, and each one is different, because the deepening always is an emerging space. It's always created by the necessities of the participants. So it's always a new space. And that's the beauty. So learning never stops. Unfolding never stops.
Thank you both. Is there still anything lingering, or does it feel complete for you for now?
Oh, I could now describe what's happening in the deepening, but maybe that's for another time.
Yes, I think so too. I think this has been a good taster for people to get an idea what the deepening is about. And yeah, if anyone is curious, they can obviously reach out to us or any of the people through the global group. There's people that you can address that we're at the Deepening if you want to hear more in person about it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And yeah, thank you, Annika.